125 East Division of the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series has become a three-way battle for the overall points lead with just 3 events remaining. For Branden, Jesseman, Mike Brown, and Brock Sellards, the pressure is on to win. Can Jesseman hang on to his lead in this short 125 East Series? Can Mike Brown take Team Green to another win before the season ends? Or will another rise to challenge our leaders? Stay with us as St. Louis, Missouri hosts the 10th round of the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series. Welcome to the Show Me State in St. Louis, Missouri's Edward Jones Dome, home to the NFL St. Louis Rams, but tonight it plays host to the 125 East AMA Championship Series. And hello once again, everybody. I'm Todd Harris, along with the founder of RacerX Magazine, Davey Coombs, as my partner David Bailey recuperates. We wish him the very best. But Davey, let's talk about the 125 East, because with 3 events to go, it's really a 3-man race.
Exactly, and Branden Jesseman's your points leader, but I tell you, he spent the last 2 weeks beating himself up over what happened at Daytona. He had the lead twice, he blew it twice, he lost to Mike Brown, but now Branden's back indoors, and we've seen all year long he's been the strongest rider, the most consistent rider, and I'll tell you what, he looked very good in practice this afternoon.
The 2 guys chasing him have turned to a very unconventional way of training and getting back their points lead, Mike Brown and Brock Sellards.
They've gone down to Ricky Carmichael's house. Now, this is a friendship they forged growing up at Team Green. Carmichael's on another team, but you know what? It doesn't matter. He wants to help those guys, and if you want to be a champion in Supercross, why not study off Ricky Carmichael?
Let's take a look at our Suzuki Series standings. It's Branden Jesseman, Mike Brown, and Brock Sellards. Then Kelly Smith and Eric Vallejo round out your top 5. Well, earlier, our Cameron Steele talked to Mike Brown, and here's what the hardest working man in show business found out.
Well, consistency and podiums are really good, but winning's even better. Mike Brown getting your first win of the season last week. Tell us about the season so far.
Yeah, it's going good. You know, I started out in Minnesota. It was not my best race. You know, I ended up 4th there, and, you know, I think if I could have had a podium there, it would have been better right now in the series. But like you say, consistency is what wins the races.
Well, the kids have been doing battle with you. You're one of the older guys in the sport. You think you got something for them now as we're getting towards the middle and the later part of the East Coast Supercross Series?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I did this in 2001 in the championship. You know, it was the same way, and I think every week just do my best and be up there in front of the guy in front of me in the points. You know, as long as I can stand in front of him in the points, and that's what's going to win the championship.
Oh, championships. He sounds pretty confident to me.
It's now time for the THQ track map. Davey, take us through it.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Dirtworks guys did a great job here. They got about 2,000 feet to work with. You make a quick left-hander, very tight off the start, immediate rhythm sections. Finally hit your first triple down through there, and then these whoops, they get really rutted out, kind of cupped out. Perfect dirt here, so it's going to get ruddy. Through the tunnel, a little double, make a quick right-hander, and then there's your finish line. But watch out for the backside. More whoops, and then a motocross sweeper, double, triple, and that's it. It looks easy, but believe me, it's hard.
This is it, 125, heat number 1 from St. Louis, Missouri. You're currently looking at Michael Brown, Team Pro Circuit. This young man is soft-spoken out of Johnson City, Tennessee on the Kawasaki. But I'll tell you what, Davey Coombs, when he gets on the line, the guy screams.
This guy is so serious about this championship, Todd. He and his wife just had their first baby. He saw the baby for 15 minutes after it was born, and then right back down to Ricky Carmichael's house. He wants to beat Jesseman.
Well, Mike Brown certainly has the motivation. As we take a look at Brock Sellards, another young man in the top 3, as we talked about at the top of the show. Brock Sellards had a great performance a few weeks back. How many of these guys do you think are really going to benefit from the week off? I mean, the off of Daytona, then take a week off. It's got to be great for them.
Well, I think that the 125 East guys didn't need it that much, but Daytona was so brutal this year that I think that, yeah, it's going to help everyone out, and Brock needed the rest.
Well, we'll take a look at our Nissan starting grid here for the 125 heat number 1. There you see Michael Brown and Brock Sellards. Brett Metcalfe, a great starter. The young man from France, Lalloz, is there. Shane Best, the great rider on the ECC ride. Kevin Johnson, Gibson Hill. Ryan Morris is out there, as is the rest of the group. As we take a look at the starting line and the races there, remember, this is 125 heat number 1, 20 riders going 6 laps. Now the top 9 automatically go to the main event. 11 go to the LCQ.
Keeping on this first turn, it is very tight down there, and the guys on the inside are going to push the guys outside. Not a lot of room between the first turn and the first row of seats.
And the 30 board is sideways. We are set to go racing here in St. Louis, Missouri. Sellards gets a great start, as does Michael Brown, who goes to the inside. And it looks like Brock Sellards is going to hold his line. And here comes Brown back to the inside. Michael Brown gets the whole shot, and he will lead them into the green flag lap.
Mike just got a better line through that rhythm section. You're going to see that all night long, cut. Guys doing different combinations and trying to make up time wherever they can.
So it goes Brown, Sellards, and Metcalfe, just how they were listed on the Nissan starting grid. Michael Brown, as Davey pointed out, this guy is determined to get a championship, and this is the way to start things off. Go out, grab a whole shot in heat number 1, and try and check out.
I think the break helped him the most because he was the guy who won at Daytona. He had 2 weeks of nothing but momentum, and Mike Brown works hard. When you're with Ricky Carmichael, how can you not?
No question about that. He had Brock Sellards with him, so not all the secrets were his to keep. Michael Brown, number 3 on the Kawasaki KX 125 Team Pro Circuit. Chevy trucks Kawasaki out of Johnson City, Tennessee, about 100 miles east of Knoxville. 29 years of age, 5'11", 165 as we look at Metcalfe.
You know what? Metcalfe was actually leading Mike Brown at Daytona, and then he crashed in a whoop section, ended up getting hurt. He still finished the race, but talking about someone who needed a break, I think it was Brent Metcalfe, but he is finally starting to show his potential and why the Red Bull KTM people brought him to America in the first place.
Well, the kind of year that KTM has been having, they're great to have him. They're happy. He's 18 years of age out of South Australia, now living in Temecula, California. As we look at the start one more time, it was all Brown and Sellards.
Sellards just had a good line. See, he faded out a little bit, squared it. He had the whole shot, but then Brown just did better down through that rhythm section.
Back to racing action. Michael Brown, your leaders. I was saying Brett Metcalfe, only 18 years of age, now riding for KTM. His tuner technician is Andrew Langston, a familiar name in the sport. But this is all Michael Brown right now as the laps continue to tick down. Remember, we are only going 6 laps in this 125 heat number 1, so it's very dicey. You certainly want to get in the top 9.
Yeah, you look at Brett Metcalfe. You mentioned that Andrew Langston's helping him out. Well, Grant Langston was supposed to be helping him out too, but just like the season's been going, Grant's been on the sidelines more than he's been in the saddle of the bike, so Metcalfe's kind of having to learn Supercross on his own.
Here is the battle for 5th place right now. That is number 55, Steve Boniface, trying to stay in there. Remember, the top 9 will make it in, so you got to be careful here. A very precarious situation. As you talked about, Davey, the dirt is rather tacky, but how well do you think he's going to hold up with 2 guys going in deep into the corners?
Well, I don't know, but Kevin Johnson has proven a few times just how good he can do. He's never been on the podium. If you think back, he did get 4th at Anaheim, and I think that a guy like Kevin Johnson, full privateer, what he wants to do is pass factory guys like this. So whether the track helps him or not, I don't know, but I guarantee you Kevin Johnson has more drive behind him because he just wants to be the factory guy, even if it is a heat race.
Well, Steve Boniface, number 55, currently holding him off right now. He's another one of those KTM 125 SX riders for Red Bull KTM Racing, originally from France, now living as well in Temecula, California, 20 year of age, a 3rd-year pro. And I'll tell you what, for KTM, the kind of season we talked about having, we got a little battle going on here. Metcalfe getting pressure on the outside, now dropping in. That's 970, the French rider, Matthieu Lalloz.
Same thing as Metcalfe. He started out late, and he's just now getting going. So we're seeing 2 guys really for the first time up front, riding up to their potential. And, you know, 2 laps halfway through the season.
No question about that. So he will drop back Metcalfe, that is, to 4th place. As we look at the pass one more time.
Well, Brett came up just a little short there, opened the door up. Lalloz came in. He could have banged him right there, but decided to just play it straight. Maybe a little love tap there. Didn't knock him down. That's the 250 class. He might have been out in the cheap seats.
No question about that. Park City. Matthieu Lalloz riding quite well. The 23-year-old 6-year pro out of France. Now living in Corona, California, as we continue to watch the progress of Brett Metcalfe, who currently sits in 4th place. Back to our leader, this is Mike Brown.
Mike's actually getting a little bit faster. His fastest lap was his 3rd lap. He did a 53.215. And you know what? He is looking really sharp tonight. Todd, you watch him in practice with me. Looks really solid. It's going to be between him and Jesseman because he's proven right now that he's got more speed than Sellards.
Well, Brock Sellards was close within about 20 yards of him. Right now it's gone up to almost 100 yards as they go down the back straightaway. And he's looking like an Isaac Bruce long bomb for the St. Louis Rams because he is a good 100 yards behind him. Mike Brown doing exactly what you should do in a heat race. Get away from the traffic, check out, and ride smart.
I'll tell you what, the ride he had at Daytona kind of saved the season for Mitch Payton's Pro Circuit team. They had not won a race to that point. and Brown goes out. Maybe it was kind of a gift from Jesseman, but Brown's a veteran. He put himself in the right place, take advantage of those mistakes, and he won Daytona for the first time. And I tell you what, everyone will tell you, winning Daytona means more than any one race except maybe Las Vegas.
Well, this is him, the white flag lap for the man who really got the whole shot from the start, ran away from everyone else. Mike Brown, your winner in heat number 1 of the 125 East. Sending a message, I'm sure, to Branden Jesseman, who's on the line staging up for heat number 2. Brock Sellards will secure second place. So the battle royale continues in the 125 East division as they all race towards the final event. 2 more events after this one, and it's going to be great, especially when we get to the East-West shootout. So 267 comes through as our last qualifier. That's Josh Sumay. We're going to step aside, but when we come back to St. Louis, Missouri, we'll have official results. We'll talk with our winner as well as our Thor rider profile. Stay with us here on ESPN. Welcome back to the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series as we take a look at our Honda Heat 1 official results. Mike Brown picks up the victory. Brock Sellards right behind him. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele.
4th place at the first round. Podiums ever since. A win at the last round of Daytona. Fastest in practice. Mike Brown, is it fair to say you are now on a roll?
I hope so. I hope you're right. You know, last week I had a good race. You know, the last 3 or 4 races I've been riding good, just not a bad start, and I hope I can just get my bike off the gate, man, this next main event.
It's shaping up for a battle in the points between yourself and Branden Jesseman. Is there anything that he has that maybe you don't, or vice versa?
No, I think the track's pretty equal for everybody, you know. I think it's just corner speed and getting off the gate and getting gone.
Right on, we'll look and see how it works out in the main.
Thanks a lot.
We now bring you our Honda Flashback. The 125 East main event race here at the Edward Jones Dome in 2002 was another example of Chad Reed's speed and ability. Having won all 5 125 East events prior to this, he became the 125 East champion with a dominating win. He's recently signed a new 2-year contract with Team Yamaha, and this year he's proven to be a good investment. Time now for our Thor rider profile.
All right, well, I'm sure this guy doesn't need much introduction. The number 3 Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Mike Brown, chilling out with us. He's got some titles, 2001 Outdoor National Champion. That's pretty solid. He's from Tennessee. Want to ask you, Tennessee, we don't do Supercross there. And want to ask you, what's Tennessee all about? Tell the people at home.
NASCAR. Everybody cares about NASCAR. I live near Bristol Speedway there, and, you know, everybody close to me is all into NASCAR. And, you know, Supercross is getting big, you know. A lot of people where I live, they know that I race and all that. It's getting big.
People know you like they know, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I mean, are you a recognizable face when you're cruising through the airport in Tennessee?
Some places, yeah. It's not as big as Dale Earnhardt Jr. or nothing like that, but, you know, much as we get on TV now, it's helping out a lot for sure.
What else do you do besides ride dirt bikes? I mean, we know you go really fast on the Kawasaki.
Not much. I play golf, and, you know, most of the time I'm staying at Ricky's house. I have been hunting once in my life, and I went with Ricky, and I killed a deer, and I ain't going back.
No, I was
in Georgia. No, it scared me. I did kill a deer, and I wasn't happy with myself about that. But other than that, in Tennessee, it's, shoot, it's always raining and cold there, it seems like.
You ever feel like young guys are not as respectful to the older guys? I mean, I was talking to a couple other guys in the 250 class, and Ricky said, you know, maybe sometimes guys don't respect the championship or the guys that have done so much for the sport, and they come out and they want to show how great they are by kind of taking on the guys that have been around for a while. You feel that?
I can see that a little bit sometimes. You know, like last year at the National, you know, Bubba Stewart was coming up, and, you know, first practice at Glen Helen, it was just me and him battling it out, and we both crashed, and, you know, a few words said there, but like you say, they want to come out and straight off the gate, they want to be the best out there, and, you know, it's good and bad, you know, it's just how bad you want to win.
We're certainly glad to have Mike Brown back. It's good to have you over here. Love watching the race, and I love watching how hard you work on the track all the time. I mean, you flow, but you can always tell that you're not giving up, bottom line. If you fall down or if you're back in the pack, you're coming no matter what, right? Some guys give up.
That's it. You do. Sometimes I look like I give up, but I get arm pump. I don't ever give up. I just slow down a little bit.
Right on. Well, Mike Brown chilling out with us. Now you know a little bit more about Mike Brown, Tennessee, Europe. Hey, you guys are getting educated here on ESPN.
125 heat number 2 is on the line as we get set to go racing. Kelly Smith may be the fastest hole shotter. He's got 3 of the last 4. Don't want to bet against him as we look at Branden Jesseman, our current points leader in the 125 East. There you look at the helmet cam of Eric Vallejo. He'll be running the helmet for us tonight in the 125. Next to him is Branden Jesseman.
I'll tell you what, Vallejo has been riding pretty well too. He's actually 4th, or actually 5th in the stands right now, but between he and Kelly Smith, either one of those guys can get on the podium anytime.
As we take a look at our THQ starting grid, there's Jesseman, Smith, and Vallejo. Shea Bentley's out there. Ryan Mills, Michael Blows, Thomas Horner, and the rest of the crew. So they've seen what the guys did in heat number 1. The pressure is on Jesseman in heat number 2, but the kid certainly has the talent to pull it off, and I'm sure he wants to get Daytona behind him as the 30 board is up.
And he took the spot that Brock Sellards had in the first race. It's been so far so good.
30 board is sideways. We are set to go racing. Heat number 2, 125 East from St. Louis.
And it's Kelly Smith once again, just like clockwork.
Riders going down on the inside of the track, but it is Kelly Smith out in front. As we mentioned, he's been picking up hole shot cash right and left. Now we'll see if he can hold off for the rest of a very talented pack. Smith coming through. Jesseman farther in the back of the pack. He currently sits in 5th place.
There you see a view from Eric Vallejo. He went down in the first turn, so he has got clear track in front of him, but we will get to see him passing people here soon.
Eric Vallejo way in the back, so he's got his work cut out for him. One of the riders tangled up in that first turn melee. But this is Kelly Smith bringing him through the green flag lap. This is heat number 2. 20 riders going 6 laps, the top 9 to the main event. The rest of the 11 to the LCQ.
They're trying to figure out who number 110 is out there. That's Tom Hoffmaster. He just came over from the National Arena Cross Series. We ended up finishing 2nd behind his teammate Josh Demuth. And I know that he would like nothing more to get some Supercross points, even if he is starting a little late.
Kelly Smith continues to lead the race. Number 56, the Yamaha YZ250F. Jesseman now starting to make a move, and you don't think he feels pressure.
Right there, he did what we were talking about in the first heat race. Just a different combination through the rhythm section. Worked out perfect. You see Ty Hatzel's in 2nd. So right now, Jesseman's going to have to get by Hatzel if he's going to have a chance at Smith. But Smith's starting to stretch it out a little bit.
Well, Kelly Smith got the hole shot like he has done. Tyson Hatzel, number 78 on the Yamaha YZ125 out of Hudson, Florida. And here he comes, Branden Jesseman trying to make some moves, picking up yet another rider.
Had a nice inside line there, but Hatzel got around that corner clean.
So Branden Jesseman trying to get around Hatzel. Meanwhile, leader Smith is starting to check out just a little bit from the rest of the pack. He's got a good line right here.
Down along the inside, makes the pass, just kind of out-jumped him there. They were going the same speed. It looked like Jesseman hit all those jumps perfect.
Branden Jesseman, number 26 on the Suzuki RM125, Team Sobe Suzuki from Foamville, Pennsylvania, the 20-year-old. He only goes 5'8", 150, but the kid can flat out ride.
Now you see Shea Bentley starting to join the pack. Bentley's been 3rd the last 2 races. First guy ever to do that for ECCRacing.com Suzuki. That's the team that has a $1 million bonus, but Shea did so bad in the first 2 races, Todd, he's really not going to have a realistic shot at collecting that $1 million bonus.
Shag Nasty out of Fayetteville, Georgia on the Suzuki. As you pointed out, I'm sure the folks at ECC would be happy dumping that $1 million for a 125 title.
Hatzel's doing a nice job of holding these guys off right now.
Oh, the battle for 3rd looks like Bentley's going to get another position. That ECC team is really loaded, Davey. If you look at these guys going around, they've got guys like Tyler Evans and Shane Bess, and really a strong team out there right now.
Yeah, but you know what? It's back to that injury thing. Their team captain, their team leader, Steve Langston, former 2-time 125 national champ, last 2 weeks, breaks his leg. He goes to the sideline. That affects the whole team.
Right. Well, they've really spread out on this lap as we continue to watch the riders go by. Remember, this is 4 of 6. We're only going 6 laps total, and you definitely want to be in the top 9. Otherwise, it's off to LCQ. As you go back to our leader, the man who got the hole shot, this is Kelly Smith out of Ludington, Michigan on that Yamaha. TeamRacerhouse.com.
Saying Kelly's had some bad history in this building. Anyone who can remember back to that Supercross battle he had with Ernesto Fonseca, where they collided together on the last lap. It would have been Kelly Smith first. Oh, and here comes Jesseman. Right when I'm telling the story, Jesseman sneaks up. And wow, Kelly gave it away right there. Now he's on the inside. Branden, just like a veteran, moved over and blocked him.
So Branden Jesseman now moves out in front, responding to the pressure applied by Mike Brown and Brock Sellards in heat number 1. Branden Jesseman, the current points leader, 125 East, moves out into the front.
Now, see, Kelly kind of messed that jump up. That was the same thing that happened to Tyson Hadsel. Jesseman just got a wheel on the inside, made it out of the corner clean, and then watch this. Takes a look over at him, lands, and goes right over and says, you know what, buddy, I'll take the inside.
Making it look easy as we look at the white flag has come out. The final lap for this 125 heat number 2 race from St. Louis, Missouri. Todd Harris along with Davey Coombs and Cameron Steele down on the track, and we've got a great race format. I'll tell you what, when we get down to the final race down Detroit, Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan, all bets are off.
Yeah, they sure will be. But you know what? I think so far Jesseman has answered Mike Brown. We talked about the great ride Brown had basically start to finish the first race. Well, Branden had to come from about 5th or 6th. So right now, it looks all even going to the main event. But I'm very impressed by the way Jesseman got through the field because Smith had a nice size lead.
Branden Jesseman bringing it around. He will take the checkered flag and the win for the 125 heat number 2. Turning in the fastest lap with a 53.790, but Brown turned in a 53.215 as we take a look at the final qualifying spot as the race comes through.
That's going to be Scott Metz, who's holding on to 8th. You got Barton in 9th. A little further back, Jeremy Chouse. Oh, and he almost got him in the last corner.
We'll step aside from the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri, but when we come back, we'll talk with our winner. Plus, we'll have our Suzuki on-track segment right after this. Welcome back to the THQ 125 Supercross Series. Here are our Suzuki Heat 2 official results. Branden Jesseman was in 5th, and he came back to pick up the victory. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele.
Well, guys, in the last round, Branden Jesseman seemingly gave away the win with a couple of slip-ups here. You win your heat race. That's got to feel good to get back on a roll.
I mean, it feels great. My Sobe Suzuki is running great out there. Along with my Michelin tire, just got to go out there and get a little better start in the main event and just do my best.
Brown looks real fast in his heat. He was the fastest in practice. You got something for him?
Well, we'll see. You know, you got to do 15 laps good and stay out of trouble, so anything can happen.
Right on. We're looking forward to it.
Hey, thanks a lot.
This year, Clear Channel Motorsports and Motorcycle Mechanics Institute came up with a great way to reward our top mechanics. Now, it's given to a different mechanic every week for his outstanding performance. We give him $250, and we call it the Top Tech Award.
Yeah, sometimes when you know, you have crashes and you don't expect to have fire drills right in the middle, but for being his first race, you know, we came through pretty strong. It didn't work out. We didn't make the main that night, but we learned a lot, and they were really under the gun, so they came through.
Well, actually, he saved me that night. You know, I would have never got any points. I wouldn't have been in the main, so he saved me, and you know, he got a bonus that evening from the race, and then also I gave him a bonus that week. So. He had a good week, even though he had a stressful night.
Paul Delorier is mechanic for Steve Boniface, and it was Phoenix that you took home Top Tech, $250. And we had to think back a ways to remember what exactly happened, but you guys had to go through the LCQ to get to the main.
Yeah, it was a while ago now, but in the semi-race, Steve crashed with another rider and bent his handlebars and tires and subframe. So we ran back to the truck and swapped everything out as quick as we could, made sure it was straight again, and he went out and won the last chance. So it was a good weekend for us.
It was great for you guys because your first year, of course, working with him in KTM. We all know you from Mike LaRocco. So that was a good beginning point. You got an extra $250.
Yeah, it always helps me out. We work as hard as we can, and it's a nice surprise. MMI really helped us out.
Hey,
if you can't, join us in person for the THQ World Supercross GP in the AMA Supercross Series. Upcoming events include Pontiac, Michigan on April 5th in the Silverdome, Dallas, Texas on the 12th at Texas Stadium, and then Salt Lake City, Utah on April 26th at Olympic Rice-Eccles Stadium. For more information, log on to www.sxgp.com. When we return to St. Louis, Missouri, it's the 125 main event.
On ESPN and ESPN2.
Welcome back to St. Louis in the Edward Jones Dome for the THQ 125 AMA Supercross Series. It's time for another McGrath moment. In 1997, Jeremy raced to determine Jeff Emig and veteran racer Jimmy Button for the 250cc main event title in Minneapolis. It was his first win of many aboard the Suzuki.
Supercross. Jeremy McGrath with a good start, but it's Jeff Emig with the whole shot. But out in front is Emig, number 3, with McGrath, number 1, making a quick early move. Jimmy Button, a fantastic on it. They touch back wheels. McGrath getting rough. Jeremy McGrath still back in second place. Jimmy Button's got the inside move and is challenging for the lead. McGrath not giving up. They both up by Emig. Oh my goodness. Jimmy Button and McGrath bar to bar. Button in first place. Jeremy McGrath is starting now to pull up on Jimmy Button once again. Jeremy McGrath's going to show him a wheel or two here on the inside. Jeremy McGrath, his second lead of the Supercross season. Right now will be Jimmy Button, and here's the checkered flag. Jeremy McGrath, his 24th career Supercross win, his first of 97. A very, very happy Jeremy McGrath.
It's now time for your Nissan qualifying highlights as we take a look back at the 125 LCQ. And Davey, I tell you what, they invented the cone here, and everyone went in this cone here, and a lot of guys went down.
And you saw Ty Conner sweep in from the outside. You see some of the carnage back there, and it didn't just stop there. They went down a little further, and there you see number 643 Conner. He had the whole shot, but it didn't last long, and instead it was Ryan Mills on the Factory Connection Honda out front leading Tommy Harrison.
Mills looked very good. Not a lot of passing in this race. And Eric Vallejo, the man who is manning the helmet cam, made the nice pass here to slide in to second place.
And behind these two, after Ryan Mills won, of course, the oldest man in the field, Barry Karsten, gets in the main event by finishing 4th.
And there are your Nissan qualifying highlights. 125 main is getting situated as they take a parade lap. It's really an opportunity, Davey, to get one last look at this track. A lot of the guys taking an opportunity to find out how the Dirtworks boys have cleaned things up, where they filled it in, where they've carved a different angle as they go into corners. We look at Mike Brown, as Davey pointed out, a new father, but his mind is all on racing tonight.
Yeah, Mike Brown was 3 seconds faster than the points leader, Branden Jesseman. Brown won the first heat race. Branden came out in the second heat race, so that's pretty close. That's about as close as you can get.
Well, right now, let's revisit the THQ track, Mac, Davey Coons, and exactly where can you make passes and where do you just want to hold on?
Well, first of all, you got to get through this first turn. You got 22 riders going into that right there, and that's going to be tough. The rhythm sections really haven't changed that much. Everyone's going the triple, but right here, these whoops are really getting kind of ragged out. That's going to be the difference, I think, in this race. After that, you know, just go through the tunnel, a couple more jumps, finish line. None of that's really changed. I think that the most dynamic part of the track remains those whoops.
Well, St. Louis, Missouri has certainly been a great place for a lot of these riders to make a name for themselves. We take a look at Eric Vallejo. Will his name be on the board? The past 125 St. Louis winners, names like Chad Reed, Travis Pastrana, Ernie Fonseca, Ricky Carmichael, Stefan Roncada, and Kevin Windham. As we take a look at the Honda main event starting grid. This is the 125 East main event from St. Louis. Brown, Jesseman, and Sellards are there, and the rest of the crew. And Eric Vallejo, number 179, will be manning the helmet cam. Everyone trying to get those last-minute adjustments taking place, Davey. And this is certainly prediction time. A lot of pressure, because after tonight, there'll only be 2 more events in 125 East.
That's right. Jesseman and Brown got to be your favorite. Sellards looking good, but if I got to bet on this whole shot, Kelly Smith's your man.
Oh, Kelly Smith has been unbelievable. Last 3 or 4 weeks, he's picked up victories and then got them all in the whole shot. Not getting a whole shot only in Daytona. And remember, the SXGP.com whole shot, it's worth $1,000. The 30 board goes sideways. This is the 125 main event from St. Louis, Missouri. Mike Brown on the inside, but he gets pitched up by Brock Sellards, and Sellards is late getting to the corner. Everyone goes into the SXGP tower, and that causes all kinds of confusion. The pack is all spread out in the back.
Looked like a big pile-up. I can't see if any of the top guys were in there, but the hole shot goes to number 55, Boniface, and then you see Kelly Smith. He didn't get the hole shot, but he did come through in second.
And Sellards goes down in the corner. Brock Sellards just dropped the bike, fell down sideways. He has it up and right. Unfortunately, it didn't stall out. Boniface continues to lead. So Boniface in first, Smith in second, and Mike Brown in the best position right now, sitting in third.
Yeah, especially because Branden Jesseman did not get that good of a start. He's about 5 spots behind him. Right there you see Brown came in. He just got under Brock Sellards' rear wheel. Mike Brown means business, and if you don't believe it after seeing that.
Well, Mike Brown certainly making the pass stick, and Brock Sellards, unfortunately, on the short end of that stick. Meanwhile, Jesseman in the back of the pack in 8th, Steve Boniface, number 55 on the KTM 125SX Red Bull KTM racing machine out in front, but how long will that last? Kelly Smith is on the gas.
Like I said, Kelly Smith's got some history here in St. Louis. He would like nothing more for personal vengeance to get on the podium, and right now, he's looking real good. He's trying to pull away a little bit from Mike Brown, and I really think that right now Kelly Smith is going faster than Boniface.
Mike Brown closing in on the gap, just waiting for some carnage so he can swoop in like a vulture and pick up the pieces, but it is still Boniface on that KTM. So folks at KTM have to be proud of this kid. He's been picking up the pieces. You know the 125SX well. It's a great bike.
It's a really good bike. You saw it on the start. Got out of the gate real good. He kind of came from the outside. We haven't seen that very much. Got to be honest, I'm very impressed by Boniface right now. And here comes Smith on the inside, and he just had a slightly better line down through there. And Kelly Smith, oh, and he punted it right there. He had the lead, over-jumped, under-jumped, and that was it. Kelly Smith had the lead for just a second.
Well, Steve Boniface was smart. He went to that corner. He knew he was going to cause an accident. He gasped out there, so he held up. Fortunately for him, Kelly Smith had a problem. And here comes Mike Brown on the Kawasaki on the inside. Oh, he pins it. Both men go down.
And
they are locked up.
And now KTM's first and second. Branden Jesseman's moved into third. Mike Brown did not need to make that move.
Mike Brown drops all the way back to fifth. Now he's doing battle with Bentley. They get tangled up momentarily.
What a big change of events, Todd. I cannot believe that lap happening. At first we see Sellards and Brown tangle. Sellards goes down, and then Mike Brown forces it just a little too much there, and that was costly because Branden Jesseman has moved into third.
Here it is one more time on the inside. Mike Brown going in a little too hot.
Yeah.
Gave nowhere for him to go. Kelly Smith had nowhere to go.
Kelly was kind of going out there and going from the outside back in, so it was just a really bad time. And right there, Jesseman gets inside of Metcalfe, and now Jesseman's gone into second. Branden Jesseman just got a big present because the third place rider, Brock Sellards, went down, and then Mike Brown went down, and Jesseman moves into second. Now can he catch Steve Boniface?
We'll be back with more of this exciting 125 main event when we return to St. Louis. This is the 125 main event from St. Louis, Missouri in the Edward Jones Dome as we look at Mike Brown, who was sitting in second place in the 125 East standings, but by virtue of that accident, he has dropped back all the way down to sixth position.
Brown was only 5 points behind Jesseman coming in. He kept going. What's the worst could happen? He could have won. Jesseman got second. He'd had a shot, but right now Jesseman might be able to get some points. And now you see Branden has, in fact, really closed that gap on the KTM.
Well, it's the Suzuki and the KTM out in front. And Boniface right now, I think, is starting to wonder, do I ride defensively or do I ride offensively? And it looks like he's riding a little too defensively because Branden Jesseman is just biding his time looking for a line, and he's going to make a run on him.
And I think it's going to happen right here. Jesseman goes to the inside. Boniface Wow, that's a surprise. He didn't put up much of a fight.
No, he didn't. That was really surprising. It's like he's trying to just hold him off by choosing different lines. Jesseman flies past him. So Branden Jesseman, who was in the early going, back 6th, 7th place, has now moved into 1st place. Now Boniface trying to close into the women's section 5th and 2nd. And look at the pass one more time. Branden Jesseman just man on a mission. You hate to use the cliche, but he just looks so fast coming out that backside.
Well, he squared it, and he tried to go to that line on the right. Right there, Boniface took it, and rather than follow him, Jesseman came out to the left, and at that point, he's got the inside going in the next corner. Boniface was a sit and duck.
Steve Boniface rode a great race for 8 laps, still riding a great race. But Branden Jesseman, the current leader in the 125 East, is your new leader here on lap 9 of 15. And this is going to do wonders for Jesseman's confidence coming off the disappointment he had in Daytona at the last stop.
Right.
I think he's got to feel pretty good about himself.
Like I was saying at the top of the show, I think he's so much more comfortable in stadiums this year than he was before. And even though he was the 2nd-ranked 125 outdoor rider last year behind James Stewart, his game just wasn't on at Daytona. And now he's back indoors, back where he's comfortable. And now Kelly Smith is really reeled in on Brett Metcalfe. Look at that. And here comes Mike Brown.
Well, I'll tell you what, the salvage evening, Mike Brown gets on the podium. He's going to have to thank his stars because this could have been a lot worse for him. The exact worst person for him to get it to drop the lead to came up, and Branden Jesseman just took over.
Well, how'd you like to be Kelly Smith? Like, he had the problems with Ernesto Fonseca here a few years ago. He might have won that race, and tonight, getting ready to make a pass right up front on Boniface, and Mike Brown comes in underneath and takes it. But at least this time, rather than walk back to the pits like he had to after the collision with Fonseca, at least now Kelly Smith has a chance to avenge himself, and he's battling for a podium spot right now.
No question about that. This is the 125 main event. We're going 15 laps. Branden Jesseman is our leader right now, but we've got some great battles. Smith is out there. Mitchell is out there, and here they go. Mitchell has been just getting worked on that one corner. Here he comes, squares it off, and he's certainly learned his lesson there. But unfortunately, Kelly Smith gets past him.
Kelly Smith just made a real nice move there. And you know what? He almost gave it away, but not a lot of fighting the Red Bull KTM riders. I'm very surprised by that. We saw Boniface basically give Jesseman the right away, and this time Smith comes in on the inside, and look, Metcalfe's not even worrying about it. He did square it there, but then he didn't really hit an attack after that, and Smith goes by for 3rd.
Well, he was heading into the whoop sections. I don't know if he was very confident about the speed he was going to carry. Didn't want to match it, possibly go down and lose another position. When we return, we will have the conclusion of the 125 main when the AMA Supercross Series rolls on from St. Louis. Welcome back to St. Louis, Missouri in the Edward Jones Dome as we are winding things down. Branden Jesseman continues to lead. And Brown has now picked up yet another spot.
You know, at the 125 East is all about momentum the way it's set up this year. They wait for 6 races while they do the West Series, and then all 7 in a row, it's about momentum. And you'd have thought that Mike Brown had that momentum after he won at Daytona, especially with that week off. But as it turns out, it's Jesseman.
There's Mike Brown's pass to move into 4th place as he gets ahead of Metcalfe, excuse me. So Mike Brown just frustrated. I'm sure he's going to go back and look at that one pass and say, the one mistake I made tonight.
And right there, Brown goes by Smith again, and that time a little more easier. And now Smith trying to come back on the inside. Brown looks over at him.
Closes down that line very effectively. So this is a great battle. Brownie has now moved up into a podium position. Kelly Smith, though, is going to have something to say about this. We've still got a few laps to go. Staying right on the back of Brown. He can see Boniface. So Boniface now is within striking distance, and that is going to be the next mission.
Yeah, Brown has definitely rebounded from that fall to get back up into 3rd. He's only going to lose 5 points at this point, and he's not that far behind Boniface. You can forget about Branden Jesseman. He's gone. But Brown coming back nicely, and I thought that Kelly Smith might have given a little payback there, but, you know, Kelly's out there racing for points, too. He's 4th in the standings, and I'm sure that Kelly is thinking long-term, too. Maybe that payback will come some other time.
There's the Honda stopwatch, and you look at the differentials between Jesseman and Brown. Mike Brown, he just rode a great race, and this will go down as one of the great races if he can find Boniface and track him in, but give Steve Boniface some credit. He has done battle with some of the best in the 125 East. Live to tell about it as he currently holds down the 2nd position. Branden Jesseman, as you pointed out, Dave, he's all but gone.
Yeah, I think that Boniface also rode a pretty good race, but, you know, Boniface is the kind of guy who needs to get something going. He needs to put something together. Second place here in St. Louis is pretty darn good.
No question about that as they all look forward to the next few events. Remember, the 125 East will culminate with Pontiac, Michigan. Meanwhile, our helmet cam, Eric Vallejo, has gone from 19th position on board that Team Solitaire Yamaha to 9th position. So the camera is working well. Tyler Evans says he wants it back. Eric Vallejo doing a great job, but it all comes down to that start. When you funnel everyone into that one cone corner and expect someone to come out, if you're not in the front of that pack, Dave, your night could be over.
Yeah, and when you have to start on the outside like that, you know, you have two options. You can just give it all you got, hope for the best, and maybe somehow get a perfect jump and get around the outside, or you could just kind of tuck it in and pick your way through the carnage, and it's just awful tough for the 22-router field like you have the 125 main events here to start on the outside, especially a short area like this.
Well, Branden Jesseman takes the white flag. He has all but secured the victory here, but Mike Brown is really starting to close in on Steve Boniface, and Boniface just got a cue from his KTM mechanics, and they're saying, move, Brown is coming.
And he's got Kelly Smith coming up behind him as well, so if Steve Boniface isn't careful, he can lose all that momentum right there at once.
Brown getting the wave on by his mechanics, saying, charge as hard as you can. You've only got a half a lap. Boniface makes a small mistake there, and here comes Brown.
Check it out. Smith is also right there in the picture, so this could get real interesting as they get up here to the whoop section.
Mike Brown currently sitting in third place. Steve Boniface in second. Kelly Smith in fourth. He wants a piece of the podium. Branden Jesseman is out in front, and Jesseman will take the checkered flag, but we want to keep our eye back here. Jesseman comes through and picks up the victory. Branden Jesseman, your winner in the 125 East main event. Boniface knows who's right behind him. He's going to gas it. Brown just runs out of real estate, and the KTM rider will hold on to second. Mike Brown will get third, holds his hands up. Says, nice racing there, Kelly. You kept me honest for a while. But Mike Brown's going to have to go back and look at that turn one more time and say, this is where it all fell apart.
A real nice comeback by Mike Brown. I'm very impressed by that. But you know what? He is going to really be mad at himself when he goes back and watches that tape, Todd.
Branden Jesseman wins by 10 seconds, and now he gets the honor of making a parade lap here in the Edward Jones Dome. But a great race. You know, he's a very opportunistic rider. Doesn't push it when he doesn't have to. He lets the guys in front of him. That's basically what he did. He was in 6th, 7th place. Brown took down a guy. Another guy fell. Just like that, he's in third, and then he just went to work.
Yeah, Branden definitely let that race come to him, but he obviously got a couple gifts along the way. Sellards goes down early, and then Brown and Smith tangled together. Those 3 passes that he didn't have to make made it awful easy to cut through those Red Bull KTMs.
When we return to St. Louis, we will have official results, plus we'll talk with our winner right after this short break. And scooters. We welcome you back to St. Louis, Missouri in the Edward Jones Dome. We just witnessed a very exciting 125 East main. What a race for Branden Jesseman and Mike Brown as we take a look at our Suzuki final results. It's Jesseman, Boniface, Brown, Smith, and Metcalfe rounding out your top 5. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele.
Well, he came into St. Louis with the points lead. 3rd win right here tonight. But the truth is, Branden, you didn't feel real comfortable coming into the night. Practice and maybe even qualifying, you felt a little off?
Yeah, I might have been a little bit off, but, you know, you can expect that. All these tracks are really difficult out here, and Mike was running great out there, but my Suzuki got me out to a great start, along with my Michelin tires, fly. And, I mean, I just got to keep moving here and hope that I'll get this championship.
The championship is what it's all about. Wins don't hurt. Mike Brown went down during the main event, but came back to a podium. Do you feel like you're putting some good space on these guys? Do you feel confident that this championship is something that now you can kind of feel coming your way?
Well, you can never, you know, feel too comfortable with only a 10-point lead, but, you know, I'm just going to go keep doing what I've been doing, which is just go out there, ride my own race, try my hardest, and whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens, but I guarantee you once that championship, another great ride for Branden Jesseman. Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. As we take a quick look at our Suzuki Series standings, a big victory for Branden Jesseman as he maintains his lead. That will wrap up the show tonight from beautiful St. Louis, Missouri in the Edward Jones Dome. On behalf of my colleagues Jamie Little, Cameron Steele, and the founder of Racer X Magazine, Davey Coombs, I'm Todd Harris saying good night from St. Louis. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Good night, everybody.